because I've now embraced the lifestyle, fully embraced the lifestyle of being a YouTuber, particularly one that talks about sci-fi TV shows and movies. At some point in my career, over the course of my journey, I'm going to have to do the Blu-ray collection, right? I'm going to have to go through all of my films and what I've got and tell you all about them. I mean, I guess I don't have to, but I'm gonna. Uh, the reason I'm doing this, actually, there's a reason. A while back in the previous guise of the channel, when I was doing more scripted stuff, I got this uh, shelf as my backdrop because I was trying to pretend to be professional, and I moved all of my sci-fi as they get anyway. I moved all of my sci-fi Blu-rays to this to again be professional and pretend that I had a good collection of sci-fi films. I don't use this as a lot these days. And I'm in the process of moving them back. And I thought, well, while I've got them all in a big pile down here, let's go through them. I don't know if this is fun content for you. I hope you enjoy it. I'm going to try and get through them as quickly as I can. I do want to say a bit, though, about my Blu-ray collection. I've gone back and forth over the years between wanting to keep physical copies and not. About 15 years ago, I sold my entire physical media collection. I was moving around a lot back then, and I didn't want to lug them around. I had about 3,000 films, and yeah, it was just too much moving around every time, so I sold them. It's something that I don't regret, but I kind of do at the same time because I had some incredible stuff. My library was really good. But I've since built up a really good digital library. I'm not going to go through that. And over the years for films, I kind of slowly started building up a collection again, but there's a lot of stuff that's missing. And this is, I would describe it as being a bit of a basic library. There's probably going to be a lot of titles that you expect to see that you're not going to. And if there are things that you think are missing from my collection, do let me know in the comments below. So yeah, right now I'm kind of in this weird, funky place where the majority of the films that I do buy digitally, just for ease of access. But I do think that if there's a film that I really, really like and really resonate, then I will go out and buy it. I've just not been doing that a lot lately. But yeah, I do think that physical media, if you're in the position where you can buy physical media and keep physical media, and if you love film and TV, it's the best way to collect, to actually have it in your hand. I don't think there's any decent substitute for that. So anyway, without further ado, I never wanted to be the channel that said without further ado, but it makes sense, right? We're going to go through all these. I'm going to be as quickly as I can. I don't think you're going to want to sit here forever. And I haven't got that many anyway. I'll say a quick couple of words about them. So yeah, let's do this. Obviously, it makes sense to start with the Star Trek stuff that I've got. And I've got this absolute wonderful thing here, the Director's Edition, the Complete Adventure. This was released a couple of years ago, and it just doesn't stack very well on my shelf, which is really annoying. But lovely to have the Director's Cut available in 4K, and it's a great film. I also have this pride and joy of my collection. This is a limited edition Star Trek 1 to 10 box set. I don't think I've ever actually watched any of the discs in this collection. It comes with a whole load of collector cards and all that kind of gumph. But yeah, all the Trek movies, with the exception of the Kelvin movies and obviously Section 31. But let's not talk about Section 31. Star Trek, the motion picture. So this is the non-director's cut. The motion picture used to be, I used to really dislike the film. I used to think it was really, really boring. But as I've grown older, I've really come to appreciate it. And I would actually say it's up there. It's probably in my top 5 favourite Star Trek movies. And if you were to make the argument that it is really the only Star Trek movie, I don't think I would argue with you, because it lacks warmth. But in terms of that spirit of adventure and all the things that made Star Trek so special back in the day, I think the motion picture was a good translation onto the big screen, and it still looks absolutely incredible. This is the 10 original movies, basically the same as the other box set, but there we go, got that as well. I have Star Trek on pretty much every format that you can imagine. So if I come across any more duplicates, I'll probably just skip over them. Right, into the non-Star Trek stuff now. Pitch Black, Vin Diesel, one of his early career movies. Kind of a fun, small scale movie. I watched it recently. I think that it is better than I thought it was. I like the creature design. It's a tidy little kind of horror thriller, and I do like the Riddick character quite a lot. Prometheus, I don't know, free disc collector's edition. The film I remember being absolutely. I remember being so excited before I went and saw it at the cinema. I was nearly sick, and I still remember how disappointed I was with the film. I was expecting something that was going to be very much tied into Alien, and it wasn't. It looked gorgeous, some good moments, but yeah, left me cold. Flash Gordon, absolute classic. Mike Hodges, camp classic, great soundtrack. I mean, what else can we say? It's Flash Gordon. Dark Star. So John Carpenter's first movie, written by Dan O'Bannon, who would obviously go on to do the Alien movies. I don't think I've got many John Carpenter movies in my collection, which is a crime. He's one of my favorite directors. I do have this one though. It's a student film that got a bit of a budget and a theatrical release. It's very amateurish, but it's a fascinating film to watch. Some of science fiction's preeminent talents really cut their teeth. Videodrome, David Cronenberg. So it's, I would say that this is a sci-fi horror movie, and it's one of my favorite films of all time. I love transgressive movies. I love movies that really kind of push the boundaries. There is some incredible effects work here. Rick Baker, if I remember correctly, did the effects work. Great performances, great story, very kind of dangerous, talking about kind of how media is warping us and turning us into something very, very different, and the things that we're losing, being desensitized based on all the media that we're seeing. Debbie Harry, she is sumptuous in this film, very seductive. Love this one a lot, and the ending is I have to watch it once a year. One of my favorite movies. Avatar is not one of my favorite movies. I still scratch my head when I think that it is the biggest top grossing film of all time. It is it's a big film. It's still visually very impressive, but I just rarely ever want to go back to it and watch it, and I think I'm not alone there. It's big, it's epic, it's got the grandeur, it's got a lot going for it, but I don't know, there's just something kind of, it's not the cultural touchstone movie. It's not Star Wars for this generation, which is I think what they were trying to achieve. But and I haven't got any of the sequels either, which I think tells you probably what you need to know. Cloud Atlas. So this was the Wachowskis hooking up with Tom Tykwer, mispronouncing. Very ambitious movie. A story that spans millennia, with characters, with actors playing multiple roles over different times. It's been a long time since I've seen it. Visually very impressive. I wouldn't expect anything less from the Wachowskis, but it had a kind of it's one of those films that kind of thought it was going to be a huge awards contender, and ultimately I don't think it was as good as that. Land of the Dead. I think this might be the only Romero movie that I have on Blu-ray. Again, it's not a sci-fi, but I've got horror and all sorts in here. But these are all the films that I would kind of say fit in with the sci-fi horror. I don't know. Is here. Land of the Dead. Funny story. I went and saw. This was the only film I ever went to see at the cinema with my grandmother, and I had to sit right at the front because she suffers from MS, multiple sclerosis, and we had to sit right at the front. It's the closest I've ever sat to the screen at the cinema, and quite a film to watch when you're literally when your nose is pressed against the screen. I think it's underrated. I think that it's Romero's movies were always more about the social commentary than the actual zombies, although there's plenty of zombie action. This one goes hard on the zombie gore, and the satire is very on the nose. A very early example of the eat the rich horror subgenre that we get loads of now. I think I've got a few Marvel films coming up here. Avengers: Age of Ultron. I mean, it's got a robot in it, so sci-fi. Not as bad as people. This is really popular to kind of dunk on this film. I know, obviously, Josh Whedon isn't the most popular guy anymore. Um, it's fine. It's fine. I don't know why people hate it so much. I think James Spader, fantastic presence, voicing Ultron, memorable villain. Kind of fizzled out towards the end, got a bit silly, but I didn't mind it. I didn't hate it. Infinity War, this is my favourite MCU movie. I think it's better than Endgame. I don't even think that's a hot take anymore. I still am in awe of how they were able to pack this film with so many characters, and still make it work. And I still remember the incredible feeling walking out after having seen this. It felt like a big deal. Still is a big deal. Not seen it in a while, though. An Endgame, yeah. I mean, it was kind of it to me. This is the MCU's equivalent of the best of both worlds. You've got the incredible cliffhanger. How on earth are they going to fix this? And then you've got kind of it's still good, but they have to win somehow, and they do. Spoilers if you've not seen it. Army of Darkness. I hadn't actually seen this until quite recently, like last year, which is crazy to say. Fun, zombie mayhem. I've never been a big fan of the Evil Dead movies that are over the top silly. I much prefer the more serious stuff, and because of that, I don't know if I've got it here actually. My favorite Evil Dead movie is actually the Fede Alvarez remake, which is it goes hard on the violence and the hellish horror. This is still fine. It's still fun. I really like the kind of the Ray Harryhausen kind of style, stop motion effects with the skeleton army, the army of the undead. It's fun. It's fun. Very brief, like an hour and 20, but it's fun. Avengers. I mean, it's Avengers. It's Avengers. It's an Avengers movie. Armageddon. And by the way, I have questionable taste. I like this film, and I don't give a fuck what anyone has to say. I know Roger Ebert absolutely hates it. He has it in his book. I hated this movie. I think it's very, very silly. I mean, obviously, it's written by J.J. Abrams, but it's just it's a like a 2.5 hour music video. It's got some good performances. I like the action. The melodrama really sucks me in. I remember watching it when I was 8 years old, and I was convinced it was real and we were all gonna die, and I got very, very sad and emotional. It's a silly movie, but I think it's fine to like silly movies. The Day After Tomorrow, speaking of silly, Roland Emmerich continues to destroy the world. Quite nostalgic for it. I remember watching it when it came out. It was a film that I watched. I think it was one of the last films that I got from the video rental store. This and Shaun of the Dead back in 2004 were the last films that I got from the video rental shop. And I remember watching them with my dad. And just nostalgic, warm and fuzzy for it. Again, is it sci-fi? I don't know, but it's in the pile. Ecological disasters. We will see. Mars Attacks. This was someone bought this for me for my 6th birthday. Obviously on VHS at the time, not Blu-ray in 1996. I like it. Really kind of pays homage to the B movie, but you've also got Jack Nicholson channeling Kubrick's. The name is Strangelove. Yeah, it's funny, it's silly. I love The Martians. It's a film that me and a friend of mine, we always kind of meme on. But it's if I'm in the mood for something a bit silly, then that goes on. Midnight Special, I've not actually seen it, but I've been told lots and lots of good things about it. It's been on my watch list for a very long time, as have many, 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 many films. The Matrix Reloaded and The Matrix Revolutions. I really like Reloaded. It does get a little bit up its arse. The car chase sequence on the highway is really good. I still think some of the action scenes are really, really good. It just gets a bit contrived, and the whole architect scene at the end just really is just lame. Revolutions. I don't like the way it ends, but there are some standout moments. I love the battle of the dock. I think action packed. and really goes hard with some of the violence. The robots are the machines are absolutely relentless. Real kind of sense of scale in that, but it's a damp squib of an ending. And again, kind of continues the Wachowskis' unfortunate trend of really thinking that they were way smarter than they really were. Sunshine, really great sci-fi movie with that kind of morphs into a bit of a horror slasher towards the end. Not so sure on that ending, but a lot of the build, a lot of that kind of quiet, creeping dread, very welcome. Great cast, great ensemble, a really good feeling. The film conveys just how dangerous space and the sun is. Great score, enjoyable film. Not seen it in a while. But it is one of my favourites by Danny Boyle. And was it written by Alex Garland? It was written by, yeah. So Garland and Boyle, great, great double team. Star Trek Into Darkness. No. Star Trek: The Original Series Origins. This is something. It's just a one that I picked up. By the way, Into Darkness. Yeah, I mean, it's a great film if you don't like Star Trek, basically. That's my thought on it. Origins, this is just a collection of episodes. We've got The Cage, Where No Man Has Gone Before, Space Seed, Errand of Mercy, The Trouble of Tribbles. So this is basically celebrating the first time we saw stuff. So The Cage, the first time we saw anything Star Trek. Where No Man Had Gone Before, Kirk, Space Seed, Khan, Errand of Mercy, Klingons, Trouble with Tribbles, obviously. Not seen it, but if it's got Star Trek on it and I see it in the shops, I've got to buy it. It's just how I am. Stanley Kubrick. Obviously, there are a few films here that aren't sci-fi at all, but I would say that well, obviously 2001 is a seminal sci-fi. And A Clockwork Orange, you've got elements there too with the kind of conditioning and some sharp kind of social satire going on there. You know, I like film. I have to have Stanley Kubrick in my collection. Super 8, JJ's. I think that's the last original film he did. It's all right. It's okay. It's his attempt to kind of do a Spielberg kind of Amblin family movie. I can't remember really much of it at all, if I'm honest. Star Trek, the original one. I did a review on this recently on the channel. Go check it out if you haven't already. It's fine. It's good. It is good. I don't think it's a. I've got a bit of an up and down relationship with it. When I first watched it, I thought it was amazing. For a few years, I really didn't like it, and now I'm fine with it. We're good. Star Trek Beyond, the final Kelvin movie. We know it's going to be the final one now. Yeah, I like the fact that after Into Darkness, they tried to do something original-ish, even though it is quite formulaic and reminds me of a lot of other Star Trek stuff. Idris Elba is wasted in it, and like all of the Kelvin universe movies, I watch all the Star Trek movies, as you would imagine, every year, multiple times. I rarely, if ever, rewatch the Kelvin universe movies. Signs, M. Night Shyamalan. I remember seeing this at the cinema and thinking it was okay, and my thoughts are still that it's okay. Atmospheric, some good performances. That alien scene where you see the alien for a second is still quite a shocking one, but you know, it's not a movie. It's a movie that I like rather than love. And I have no feeling about the Solo movie. It was the cinematic equivalent of empty calories. I think it still remains the only unprofitable Star Wars movie. That's a shame. There is some good stuff in here. I really like Danny Glover as a young Lando. But the scene where we find out why Han is called Solo is just stupid. Almost done with this pile. We've got Akira, amazing, beautiful anime. It's on my yearly watch rotation. Classic. Aliens is one of my all-time favorite movies. It is perfection, really. I think it is as close to perfect as you can get from a film. It's a winner on every kind of level. It's one of the best sequels ever made. Equal parts terrifying, thrilling. I personally prefer the theatrical cut because I like the the tension and the suspense of not knowing actually what's happened to the colony. But yeah, thoughts might differ there. Actually, we've got the six film collection. I This doesn't include Romulus. Uh, General quick thoughts: Alien is an absolute masterpiece, a classic. Aliens is my favorite. Alien 3 is incredibly underrated and overhated, and I think because Dave Fincher says he didn't like it and didn't have fun making it, that gave people free license to shit all over it. I think it's way better and actually has the balls to make some pretty crazy decisions. Very underrated movie. Alien Resurrection, I watched this recently for the first time in ages. It's very out there, has a very kind of European 90s sensibility, very French. It's all right. Prometheus, I've already talked about. Alien Covenant was an attempt to kind of correct, kind of course correct, but it was kind of just more of the same, really, but with a little bit more horror. Independence Day. I love Independence Day. Another film that I was very nostalgic for, but I think large scale, epic alien invasion movie, incredible action sequences, really good blend of drama and comedy. I quote Will Smith from this film all the time, but also Jeff Goldblum as well is just an incredible performance. The Thing, I do have other Carpenter, and good job I have this one. This is one of my favorite films of all time. Definitely in my top five. Incredible, paranoid, just horror show. The creature effects by Rob Bottin. Rob Bottin? Yeah, Bottin. Are out of this world, incredible. You watch them now, it's over 40 years later, and it is still repulsive and horrific. Great score as well by Ennio Morricone, which is very unlike a lot of his other scores. Weird that Carpenter didn't score it, but incredibly atmospheric, brilliant ending. Love it. Just one of the best films ever made. The Predator trilogy. I rewatched Predator for the first time in a few years the other night. Great kind of subversive macho action sci-fi. Predator 2, I actually think is underrated. Great performance by Danny Glover. Essentially takes the jungle and puts it into a city. Very violent. I like that, and also did quite a lot for the mythology. The final film is Predators, the one with Adrian Brody trying to do Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's okay. It's okay. Not seen it for a very, very long time. I have not seen the Shane Black one. I heard it was terrible, so I never gave it a go. Oh look, another John Carpenter movie. The Fog, very early career effort. I love some of the cinematography in this, particularly some of the shots of the coast and the lighthouse. I know that sounds strange to say about a horror movie, but it just has that kind of 80s look. And I didn't live through the 80s, but there is a certain look to a John Carpenter movie that just makes me want to live in the movies, even though you're being chased by a load of ghost pirates that move around in fog. I'd still want to kind of live in the movie. Wouldn't survive very long. I really like this one. Great early career effort. The Shape of Water, or as I like to call it when I'm talking to my partner, Chapeau. Del Toro, Oscar winner. I don't know if it deserved to win Oscar for that year. Can't remember what the other options were. I like it. I think it's a really sweet, non-traditional romance movie. Great production design, some really good performances. Doug Jones just hits it out of the park, but also Sally Hawkins as well. It's kind of weird because you think that a very kind of explicit romance between a woman and a fish man, it wouldn't work and you'd laugh at it. But there are actually moments of where it's quite profound and very sweet, and I like it a lot. District 9, very famous South African movie, really kind of broke a bit of a mold when it first came out. I think I watched it a couple of years ago. It's been a while, but I still think the special effects, considering the budget, absolutely incredible. I love a film that is able to really stretch a limited budget and look way more expensive than what it really is. And that film is a tremendous job. And also the story as well. That kind of allegorical refugee crisis. That's obviously very Trekkie, and so I gravitate to it a lot. Rogue One. I like it. It's probably my favorite of the modern era of Star Wars movies. I like how it actually is a Star Wars, emphasis on wars, very bleak, very complex. Obviously, lays a lot of the groundwork for what we'd eventually get in Andor, which I have not seen yet. But on the strength of this, it is absolutely on my watch list. A good modern Star Wars film. They are actually possible. The Crazy. This is the remake of the Romero movie. I've not seen this for a very, very long time. And I don't think I've got the original either, but I have seen it. In a way, I actually kind of prefer this version. I know it's sometimes a bit sacrilege to say that you prefer a remake, but this goes a little bit harder with the violence, and I think it pushes. The violence and the horror of it a little bit more. But I think that a bit of that social satire that is so frequently in a Romero movie is lost in translation, as it so often is. Looper, I like Ryan Johnson. I'm sure we'll talk about that more in a bit. And I think this is, outside of his Knives Out movies, probably his best movie. Original. I love the sci-fi concept, and how kind of repercussions can be felt across time instantaneously. If you're going to cut someone's finger off in the present, then they will instantaneously lose it on their future self. I think that's really, really cool. Some really good horror kind of played up there. It does fizzle out a little bit towards the end, I think, which is a shame. I like Emily Blunt, but the film really slows down when they get to the farmhouse. Speaking of Emily Blunt, Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow, I don't think they were ever able to settle on a title. I've seen it once, and my thought was, it's all right, it's fine. It's a Tom Cruise action movie in a future where they're at war with aliens. It's fine. Guardians of the Galaxy, one of my favorite MCU movies. I don't think they ever fully replicated the quality of the first movie, although I think the third one came pretty close. And I don't think I've got the third one. I think I got the second one somewhere. Yeah, real pleasant surprise here. But in hindsight, I think James Gunn movie. It's sharply written. It's very funny. It's got an incredible soundtrack, and it's quite sweet and quite profound and very emotional at times too. Oh damn, Dread. I mentioned that I love films that can take a really small budget and really stretch them. This is a really good example of that. Alex Garland wrote it, and I think the legend is that he directed it too. Carl Urban, Bones in the Star Trek Kelvin movies, is perfect as Dredd, and I really wish that we'd gotten a sequel to this, or a TV show, or some sort of continuation. I love, with that limited budget, even if it's just in one location, the world building, the believability of this desperately bleak world, really good. The action is incredible. Very similar to The Raid, the Indonesian movie that came out around about the same time. I love it a lot. Terrific ending. And Lena Headey, great villain. Really good. Love Dread. Monsters, Gareth Edwards, he'd obviously gone to do Rogue One. I only watched this for the first time a few months ago, and I was quite impressed. Again, it's very low budget, but what it's able to achieve is very impressive. I love the creature design. I really like the fact that we rarely ever see the creatures, and at the end there's that twist that I won't spoil here if you've not seen it. I've kind of already spoiled it by saying there's a bit of a twist. It's not really a twist, it's more just a behavioural kind of thing. It's good. It's good. It's not great. As a early feature where a filmmaker is showing what they could do as a demo reel, very good. Mimic, very early Del Toro movie. I'll be honest, I've not seen this for a very, very, very long time, and I cannot remember for the life of me what actually happens in it. I should probably change that and rewatch that at some point soon. Man of Steel. It looks great. It's a Zack Snyder. I was going to say Zac Efron. No, it's not. It's a Zack Snyder movie. He makes very rich-looking films, but I don't think that he is smart enough to understand what these characters are all about. He seems to think that Superman was some sort of Greek god. I think he fundamentally misses the point of what Superman actually was. Great score by Hans Zimmer, though. High Rise. So this is Ben Wheatley, a well-known British director, and a adaptation of the Who wrote this book? J.G. Ballard, who also wrote Crash, which was also adapted into a film by David Cronenberg, very famously. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but I remember really liking it. This kind of alt, kind of retro, futuristic, dystopian. It's due a rewatch. It's been a while, but I remember watching it and thinking that wow, this actually goes pretty hard, and actually quite liking it. Inception. I don't really know what else there is to say about it. It's not my favorite Nolan movie, but I think it's one of the best original films of this century so far. And again, another really good Hans Zimmer score. And as a father now, it kind of hits me on a completely different emotional level. Very good film. Interstellar is my favorite Nolan film of all time, and it is one of my favorite sci-fi films ever. It is an absolutely visual feast of a movie. The score again by Hans Zimmer, very different to what he usually puts out. But again, it's the character stuff, the focus on this kind of blending of kind of love, but also the hardness of their mission, which could have absolutely disastrous apocalyptic consequences. But there's a lot of people say that Nolan lacks warmth and heart in his movies. This is the counterpoint to that argument. I will probably review it for this channel because it is a film that is very near and dear to me. I love it very much. There we go. I do have Evil Dead, the Fede Alvarez remake. It is an absolute. If you've not seen it, because you think that the original Raimi movie is untouchable, just give it a go. It is a revolting horror movie that does not let up. And kind of one of those rare horror movies that is actually genuinely horrifying. It's not all just jump scares. E.T., classic. The first time I ever saw my grandfather cry was at the end of this film. What else can I say about it? That John Williams score, particularly that piano intro, absolutely just a thing of beauty, an iconic film. Speaking of iconic, Blade Runner, this is the final cut. I can't remember what that means. There are so many different cuts of this. I've got a box set, which is all the cuts on a DVD somewhere. But yeah, Blade Runner, it's an absolute classic. It's a visual masterpiece, but I also really enjoy the story. This kind of futuristic noir. Vangelis, beautiful score. Tears in the Rain at the end. What can you say? Blade Runner. It's one of the greatest films of all time. Apollo 13. I watched this last year for the first time in many years, and I was kind of in awe of just how it made me feel like I was actually living through, was it 19, is this 60, is this 69, 70, 71, around that time anyway. I felt like I was living in that era, and it has a very documentary-like feel to it, which Ron Howard is pretty good at doing. Great performances. I do think that it's fairly historic. It's quite close to history. I do like it. I like it a lot, and that real triumphant ending is a real kind of fist pumper. Arrival, Denis Villeneuve, before he absolutely blew up with the Dune movies, which I don't have, but I love very much. I love this film very much, and but it really swings on the reveals late at the end, which really recontextualized the movie and took it from I really like it to I am in love with this movie. I think the revelations in this are extraordinary, and I really love the alienness of the aliens. Is that the right? The otherworldliness, the fact that they don't come here and they don't talk our language and they have such a completely different understanding of the universe. That kind of thing is rare in sci-fi, and I love it for existing. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai Across the Eighth Dimension. Yes. I have no idea what this film is all about. I've watched it a few times, but it's wacky. It's perfect 80s movie as Peter Weller as this kind of polymath. He can do everything. He's a brain surgeon, a scientist, a rock star, all round cool dude, and you want to be in his company. And the musical number as they're all walking around at the end is it's in my brain. I think about it at least once a day. One of my favorite sci-fi movies from the 80s, a real kind of wacky movie. King Kong versus Godzilla. I've not seen it, but I'm due. I need to spend time and actually sit down and watch all of the Godzilla movies because I have never done that. And all the Godzilla movies that I've watched are probably the ones that most people don't like. I need to pick this. I need to pick up the pace. Knowing Nicolas Cage movie about foretelling the end of the world. It's got a couple of decent moments in it. I watched it again for the first time in ages last year. But it has moments where it's a little bit silly, and I think some of what they're striving for is kind of lost in the sauce a little bit. But it's fine. It's a perfectly decent watch. The Fifth Element, absolutely visually stunning movie, very Euro, very kind of Vogue, Euro Vogue. I don't know, I'm just making up words really. Luc Besson, a very French movie. And I will say that I like the way it looks, but a lot of the film, in terms of its narrative, the way it comes together, kind of left me a little bit cold. And the ending, particularly with this kind of romance between Mila Jovovich and Bruce Willis, wasn't very convincing at all. And also, at the risk of sounding like a woke arsehole, gets a bit creepy towards the end. The Fly, David Cronenberg. It's not my favourite Cronenberg. It's his most famous, arguably. It is up there, one of his best. Great performance by Jeff Goldblum. The horror effects are incredible. And the feeling of tragedy towards the end, at the end, is very palpable. It's a very good film. And the transformation of Jeff Goldblum from this affable scientist to this tragic mess by the end is very powerful. iRobot, another Alex Proyas movie who directed Knowing. It's kind of early noughties movie. Absolutely nothing to do with Isaac Asimov's books. It's just an action vehicle for Will Smith. My partner loves it. I don't know why, but it's fine. It's not terrible. It's not terrible, but it's just rarely watch it. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the film adaptation. My dad really doesn't like it. He thinks that it was really Americanized, and I kind of see his point sometimes. I think that to hit the widest audience possible, there would have to be making Douglas Adams, making that humor as accessible as possible. Quite a tough ask. I think this is still very quirky, and I mean, Douglas Adams co-wrote the screenplay, so there's a lot of him in this film still. Unfortunately passed away before it came out. I think it looks really good. It's all of the effects hold up really well. I think Martin Freeman is good casting as Arthur Dent. I really like Mos Def as Ford Prefect. It's got some good casting. I love Bill Nighy as Slightly Bartfast. It is, I think it's better than what most people think it is. I think it got middling reviews. I can't remember. Spike Jonze. Love this film. It's very kind of lo-fi sci-fi. But it's more focused on our relationship with technology, the rise of AI, obviously quite prescient. I think this came out in 2013. I love the performances. Scarlett Johansson as the voice of the AI. Delicious voice. And a really lovely... It's a lovely film. I love the way it looks. It's got a terrific colour palette, really sharp visuals, and really stuck in my brain for years. Hellraiser, the original. Again, it's not really a sci-fi, but there's a few horrors in it. Not my favourite, but again, I really like it. I like it conceptually, and it does have some gnarly moments. I don't think it's aged that well, but Pinhead is a horror icon, and it's got some moments. And I really like the score too, which is a recurring thing. I like scores. But it's a film that I'll watch usually once a year around Halloween. It's still good. Demolition Man, very silly action movie. The free shells, obviously, that's a joke that found its way into Star Trek somehow. I love the small details of this. Every time Stallone swears, you can hear the beep of the anti-profanity law coming in, getting all those tickets. Yeah, it's a good 90s action movie. Nothing more, nothing less, no pretension. Face Off, more of an action movie than a sci-fi, but the surgical procedure, the idea of having your face taken off, I think it's pretty sci-fi. And I think they've actually done a face transplant quite recently as well, so it's now science fact, fun action movie, one of John Woo's best. Great performances. I love the novelty of John Travolta playing Nicolas Cage and vice versa. And it's very, very darkly funny. Great action movie. Isle of Dogs. I think this is the only Wes Anderson movie here in this pile. I consider this to be a sci-fi. It's in a near future, slightly dystopian. Dogs have been abandoned. You can't abandon dogs. I love the animation style. That kind of very tactile animation. The idea that every time they reset the model, the hair would kind of have this wavy effect to it. I really like the way it looks. Obviously, that Wes Anderson type humor, very dry, not going to be everyone's cup of tea. I really like Wes Anderson movies, and I really like that one. Under the Skin. This is a film that I've only seen a couple of times. Very, very kind of high concept. Jonathan Glazer, more of an artist than a filmmaker. Although I guess if you're a filmmaker, you are an artist. I'll be honest with you. For the first, when I bought this and watched it for the first time, I heard it was because Scarlett Johansson was getting naked, and she does. But now, all these years later, I mean, I still enjoy that. But in the context of this, it's not a sexy film by any means. I think it's a really fascinating movie. It's one that I've not seen that many times, but dark and very uncomfortable. And uncompromising, and it's I can't really say I enjoyed it. It was certainly an experience. The Superman 5 movie collection, very, very quickly. I love the first one. The second one hasn't aged that great. The third one is wacky but kind of enjoyable if you're in the right mood. Superman 4 is, I've got kind of some strange ties to it because it was filmed in Milton Keynes, which isn't too far away from where I live, and there are locations in the film that I recognise, and I kind of mark out when I see it. The film is crap though. Superman Returns, Bryan Singer. It's boring. It's just boring. It's just trying to just be classic Superman, and it was just boring. Strange Days, Unwrapped, still wrapped. I've not seen it. I've heard great things about it. Catherine Bigelow. I've not seen it. I'll let you know when I have. Maybe. Source Code, Duncan Jones. Great concept. I've only seen it the once, but quite a memorable film. I really like the ending, the revelation that we get. Good performances. Jake Gyllenhaal. Decent. Shin Godzilla. Not seen it, so I'll have to change that at some point. Serenity, so another Joss Whedon movie. I really like this one. I have only seen a couple of episodes of Firefly, but I went and saw this at the cinema, and I thought that it was... I didn't think at the time it was connected to Firefly. I had no idea what it was. But it's a really good jumping on point for people that haven't seen it, and a really good continuation, I think, having seen 2 episodes, for people who... are fans of the show. If you've seen all of Firefly, let me know what you thought of this as a continuation. But I really enjoyed it. Kind of cowboys in space. It's a shame that we didn't get any more. But saying that, I think as a send off to these characters, it gives us everything that we needed. And yes, one day I will watch Firefly. Promise. Contact, not seen it for a very long time, but based on Carl Sagan, kind of very heavy sci-fi. Robert Zemeckis, there is some directorial stuff in here that still boggles my mind. The shot where the girl is running towards the mirror, I still have no idea how they were able to do that. It's good. I've not seen it for a long time, but it made its mark when I first saw it years ago. Children of Men, I can't watch this film very often. It is a very difficult, distressing movie because it feels so kind of tangible and close to home. It's a UK based dystopian movie. Alfonso Cuarón, great performances, very gritty. a punishing movie at times, particularly at the end. It is just unrelentingly bleak, but there is a little bit hope there. But yeah, it is a fantastic movie. Very difficult to watch, particularly the bit with Michael Caine towards the end. Hard watch. The Martian. This is not a hard watch. A very real crowd pleaser of a movie. Ridley Scott. I think it's probably his most successful of his late stage career. Great performance. Matt Damon is extremely likable, and actually, I remarked in one of my recent Strange New Worlds reviews the episode where Ortegas finds herself trapped with a Gorn. Very similar vibes to this. It's a good uplifting movie. Great soundtrack. Love the ending. Good film. Minority Report. Steven Spielberg. Low key, one of Tom Cruise's best performances, based on short story. Philip K. Dick. I've not read the short story, but I love the concept. This idea of a police force arresting people before they've even committed the crime. So, obviously, it's got probably not the best time in history to put this on and rewatch it. But yeah, very good futuristic concept. I think it does kind of boil into a bit of a formulaic movie in its midsection, but conceptually very good. Not seen it for a while. Should change that. Matrix. I've talked about the sequels, but the original, they could have just made this and been done with it. And it is one of the best sci-fi movies. One of the best movies released in my lifetime. Fantastic blend of science fiction. I wouldn't say it's the most original concept. I think Dark City was released I think a year or two before this, and very similar conceptually, but this is a much better film. And the action set pieces really, really good. Great score, great performances. Made sense that they would build out the world in sequels, but those sequels unfortunately couldn't hold a candle to the instant classic that was the first. Told you I had Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. I think the best thing about this is Kurt Russell, late career performance from him. And it does have some good stuff in it. I like the relationship between Quill and Rondu, the blue guy. Can't remember the names. It doesn't matter. It's fine. It's just not as good as the first one. Pacific Rim, I remember thinking it was good, but not great when I saw it. It's definitely one of Del Toro's weaker efforts, but I knew he was really passionate about making a kaiju movie. I've not seen many Godzilla movies, so you can probably tell I'm not really much of a kaiju guy. But I remember it being a fun, kind of breezy movie, kind of in that same vein as like an Independence Day. So it was kind of strange that it would be made by Del Toro, but there are flashes of his weirdness kind of sprinkled throughout. Battlestar Galactica: Blood and Chrome. It's a TV movie, and it was okay. I think it was a failed pilot. That just didn't get picked up, and you watch it, and it's quite easy to see why. But it's fine. Back to the Future trilogy. I watched these back in October for the first time in a while. Back to the Future is going back on the frequent rewatch rotation, I think. That's one of the best films ever made. That, I like it for its technical wizardry, but it is nowhere near this. This is like a perfect movie. This, when I was a kid, I loved the DeLorean, and I remember crying when the DeLorean got destroyed by the train. I think I was traumatized. I watched this and I was like, it's fine. It is fine. I like that it ties up everything in this nice kind of neat way. But this is the only film that I care to go back and rewatch. It's nice to have all three. I'm so glad they never made a fourth. Let's hope that never happens. Touch wood. Blade Runner 2049, another Denis Villeneuve movie. And this film, I think this is the film that he did after Arrival. This is a hot take. This might get me in trouble. I love Blade Runner. Blade Runner is one of the best films ever made. This is better. I think that it is more narratively satisfying. I think that it is a bit more coherent. I think that its themes are a little bit more solidified. It didn't need 948 different cuts to be revered. It's an incredible production. Great acting. I love the fact that you can also watch this without having watched the first one, although definitely do a double feature. It's very good. But yeah, I like that it's its own thing. I like the fact that it's a sequel that had the balls to try and just do something a little bit different. And it has my massive respect for that. Love the first one. I really love the sequel just a little bit more. Big Hero 6, my kids love it. And my partner loves it, and it has its moments. The ending really kind of you get a bit of a lump at the end. This kind of relationship between this young man and his very adorable robot. Some great animation. It's not a Pixar movie; it's an actual Walt Disney animated movie. Very breezy, very fun, great to put on and shut the kids up. Chernobyl TV show, one of the best TV shows I've seen ever. A shocking reenactment of the incredible disaster at Chernobyl. Well, I mean, incredible is probably not the right word, but it is incredible because I can't believe it actually happened. Harrowing is probably the best word to describe it. Performances are incredible. I think Stellan Skarsgård won some awards for his performance. Richly deserved. Yeah, he won an Emmy. 19 Emmy Award nominations. Richly deserved. One of the just top-notch mini-series I've seen in my lifetime. Chronicle, I can't really remember a lot of it. All I know is that it launched the careers of a few actors, specifically Michael B. Jordan, who is a big actor in Hollywood now. I really can't remember a lot of it. Chappie, a film later on in Neil Blomkamp's filmography, the guy that made District 9. The guy fell off. This is okay. It's okay. I like that it's got Diatward, the South African kind of rap group that I quite like listening to. They're nuts. And they're nuts in the film. Close Encounters. I have only seen this once as a kid. It's been a long time since I've seen it. I remember it scared me. I was like 6 or 7. I've not seen this for like 30 years. I really should change that. It's one of those films it's one of Spielberg's classics. It's one of his famous alien movies. I should rewatch it. I'm going to put that in a different pile. I'm going to watch that this week. There we go. Change that. Cabin in the Woods. A good kind of horror with some sci-fi elements. It's very subverts the genre. So you'd think that Ryan Johnson probably loves it. Very early career performance from Chris Hemsworth. I don't think he's in it for very long. Gets very bloody at the end. It's a bit of fun. I think Sigourney Weaver's in it as well. Can't remember. Doesn't matter. Downsizing. I got this based on the strength of its trailer, which uses Talking Heads, Once in a Lifetime. Great song. I like the concept. I've not seen it. Should change that. Dune, the David Lynch version, not the Denis Villeneuve version. And this is another hot take that I'm going to have that's probably going to have people telling me off. I don't care. I like this. It is... I don't think it's Lynch's weakest movie. I really don't. I think probably The Simple Story is, even though that's sweet and nice, but it's just too normal. This is weird and wacky. Great production design, and isn't afraid to go absolutely nuts. And Baron Harkonnen is absolutely unhinged in this film. I do think that what's his name? Who plays Carl McLachlan? He's miscast. He's boyish, but he's not young. He's too old for the role. And also Sting can't act for shit, but he's fun. And it's fun to watch him get his comeuppance. Dark City. This is the film that I mentioned when I was talking about The Matrix. Very similar conceptually in terms of this world where there's something sinister lurking underneath. It's a film that I don't think a lot of people have seen it. I think it's a real cult classic. But then again, we're talking about sci-fi movies, genre movies. If you're watching this and you've made it this far into the video, you've probably seen this. If you haven't, go check it out. It's really dark and gothic and terrific visual movie. And quite a wild ride. The twist at the end is particularly memorable. Right, we're getting there. First Man, Ryan Gosling. This is a top-notch space movie. And I don't know why it didn't make money at the box office. I don't know why so many Americans were unhappy about it. This idea that it focused more on Neil Armstrong than some kind of jingoistic "look how great America is." This is an exploration of the man, not NASA, and not the mission. The mission plays second fiddle, but the visuals are really, really good. A really kind of authentic depiction of space, and it felt real. And I love the production design. And again, it's quite similar to Apollo 13. It makes you feel like you're actually living through that time. Claire Foy as well, really good standout performance. Performances across the board are really good. And again, the score. By Justin Hurwitz, a frequent collaborator with Damon Chazelle. Really good. Really good film. Not as good as Event Horizon, though. I'm joking. Or am I? I love Event Horizon. This is one of my guilty pleasures that I don't feel that guilty to say I love. It's a horrific film, a really good blend of sci-fi and horror. The horror really goes for it. We get that infamous gore sequence. When I first watched this, I was like 8 or 9, and it fucked me up. And even to this day, I watch it, and there's some bits that I wince at. I always make sure when I put this on, just to really ramp up the creep factor, I turn all the lights off in the house. And we live kind of out we've got no houses around us, so it's kind of just lots of trees and forests just outside, and I make sure the curtains are open as well, just to add to the creepy voyeuristic nature of it. It's a really creepy movie that really kind of just bedded into my brain. It is rubbish. Yeah, it's rubbish. The ending is really silly. But it's just one of those films that I love. And the Prodigy's funky shit playing over the end credits is a mood. Sam Raimi's The Evil Dead. This is the original. It's a classic. Total Film describes it as a benchmark for modern horror. It's down and dirty and rough around the edges, but this was the blueprint. And this is my favorite. Everyone goes on about my favorite of the originals. Everybody goes on about the second one, how it's the best film ever made. Nah, not for me. John Carpenter's Escape from New York. It turns out I've got more Carpenter movies than I thought I did. This is this is one of my favorite Carpenter movies. I love the dystopian nature of it. This bustling, beautiful metropolis, New York, reduced to a crime-ridden, maximum security prison that if you go to, you'll never get out of. Kurt Russell's performance in this, man, is just so cool. He's so cool. And just the ending with the tape and the music kind of playing over it. Isaac Hayes, villain performance, very memorable. Not much action in this, which is kind of surprising when you watch it back, but it's a mood, and it's just effortlessly cool. Very rewatchable. I watch it multiple times a year. It's so good. Equilibrium. It's a film. As if my throat's starting to hurt now. Hang on. I like the ambition of the film. It's essentially, was it THX 118? I might be getting the number wrong. That might be sacrilege. That might get me in trouble. It's let's just go THX. This is kind of like a modern day interpretation of THX. The world, they suppress their emotions with drugs, so it's kind of volcanistic in a way, and they're all super disciplined, but turns out everybody's kind of coming off the drugs. Christian Bale, it's a bit of a thankless role because he has to basically just kind of play a robot, but as he comes off the meds and the world kind of warms up, it's got some good moments. I really like the gun kata. They've kind of got martial arts with guns. It's very silly, and it does lead to an ending that kind of takes all of the intelligence of what it's trying to do, its setup, and just kind of throws it out the window in favor of let's just shoot everyone and blow shit up, which is a shame. But it's okay. It's fun. It's I mean, it wouldn't be in my collection if I didn't think it was half decent. Ex Machina. I've only seen this once. I like the concept of it. This kind of like the Turing test. I think this kind of making sure that artificial intelligence that's so intelligent and so indistinguishable from human, it kind of leads to the question of what is human. Do a rewatch. I like it. It's another one of those films where it's kind of quiet. It's like limited locations, and it's focused more on the concept rather than big explosions and action set pieces. And you got to mix the two up, right? Okay, you're gonna have an action packed martial arts sci-fi movie. You want some stuff to think about. That could be a good double feature, maybe. Ex Machina and Equilibrium. Might try it. This is a horror film, kind of social horror film. Blue Velvet. It's a classic, isn't it? Classic. I mean, Dennis Hopper, one of the great villain performances of all time. And Eraserhead as well. This is a horror film. It's such a difficult film to watch and to kind of interpret. But I tell you what, being a father, kind of understand a little bit more what David Lynch was going through a little bit more. But very striking film. We are almost done. Kind of. Almost. Battle Los Angeles. It is crap, but there is something about it. I really like the. You don't see the aliens really much, if ever. And the first time you see them in TV footage. It is action, war propaganda, schlock with a sci-fi veneer. I've not seen it for a very long time. I'll probably rewatch it and just think it's absolutely shit, but it's in the collection. The Bay. This is a horror movie. Barry Levinson, very dexterous. His filmography is kind of all over the place in terms of genre. I think this is a found footage. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've seen this one, but I remember the horror is quite eye opening, and it's we kind of have this breakout of a deadly disease. So obviously, probably not the best film to watch during COVID. Let's not talk about those days. Terminator 2, one of the best sequels. One of the best films, a real film that turned me into the film fan, the sci-fi fan that I am now, and also put me at the top of Arnold Schwarzenegger's fan club. I love it. I don't really know what else I could say other than it is about as close to perfection as you can get. However, let's park it. I'll come on to it in a bit. Valerian, I've seen this once and I thought it was okay. Very similar to The Fifth Element. It's very French, and it's another Luc Besson, obviously. The performances are oddly stilted and dry, but visually it looks decent, but sometimes it's just not all about the visuals. I think the story was a bit convoluted and a bit all over the place too. Star Wars The Force Awakens, saw it in the cinema and I thought, this is great. But then I watched it again. I was like, it's just, why would you watch this? Why would you watch it? I mean, particularly now that the trilogy is done, I have no desire to rewatch this ever. I might watch this one, but I'll never watch the sequels. Ever. Although saying that, The Last Jedi gets a lot of hate. A lot of people love to dunk on it. And look, it's got some silly shit in it. The whole Canto Bite thing is stupid. The inclusion of Benicio del Toro, completely wasted. An incredible actor, completely wasted. I don't like what they did with Mark Hamill, with Luke Skywalker, the character. It is... I kind of understand that characters can change over the years, but this is sci-fi, fantasy, and Luke Skywalker is, this is a guy that fought tooth and nail to save his dad from the clutches of evil and succeeded. Struggle with this one. Visually, though, I think it's top-notch. I like the fact that it took chances. And what I like about the film more than anything is that it had the guts to open the universe. This idea of democratizing the Jedi. Anyone can be a Jedi. When you're a kid and you watch Star Wars, you go, I'd love to have a lightsaber. I'd love to be able to use the Force. But it felt to me that Star Wars was kind of a very small, closed-off group of elites that had the Force. And this kind of gave us the idea again that anyone could be a Force user. But then the last film, which I do not have a copy of because it's bollocks, completely undid everything. It does not deserve the hate. I love this film. Obviously. Ghost in a Shell. I've only seen it once, and it's good. I mean, anime. When I was younger, I really loved anime. These days, not so much. I think it just kind of became fetishized, and everyone who was into manga and anime productions just kind of, they were usually just using it as an excuse to watch hentai. At least my friends did anyway. I'll rewatch it at some point. Ready Player One. This is probably. I mean, there aren't many films in my collection that I just like. Ugh. I think I bought this from a supermarket, and they were offering the book as well, and I never saw this in the cinema. It is just. Do you remember this? The movie, and the original bits that it's adding. I can't remember a fucking second of this film other than it recreates The Shining. You see the Iron Giant, you see the DeLorean. Who cares? Just watch those movies. Watch the original movies. Quiet Place, good horror movie. Alien Invasion. I like the concept of the aliens. There are kind of plot holes in this though, with just kind of the actions of the characters, and in a world where you can't make a sound, why the fuck would you have a baby? Appreciate that it might be quite difficult if you don't have contraception and all that jazz, but I've got a little 8-month-old downstairs. We would not survive a second in this world. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This is the second one out of the newest trilogy, which I think there are now 4. I don't know. I might have the other ones. I don't know. It's good. It's good. The special effects are extremely convincing. I think this is directed with a lot of intelligence and skill by Matt Reeves, who would obviously go on to do the latest Batman movie. I can't really remember a lot of it. I think Gary Oldman's in this one, and I think he makes an argument as to why he is doing what he's doing. It's a complex villain, if I remember correctly. I haven't got many of the Planet of the Apes movies, and I've only seen the new trilogy, minus the 4th one, and the original Charlton Heston. They're the only ones that I've seen. Probably should change that at some point, being a sci-fi content creator. WALL-E, masterpiece, right? Masterpiece. I beautifully animated. I love that it doesn't lean on dialogue, and very much evokes the classic the classic silent movies, which I love me a silent movie. It's the form at its most potent, and it's a lovely, lovely, lovely love story. 12 Monkeys, Terry Gilliam. Terry Gilliam? Gilliam, I think. I think it's got remade. I think Terry Matalas turned it into a TV show, which I've not seen, and I won't see it because it's Terry Matalas. That's a video for another time. Great movie, wacky. Terry Gilliam, however you want to pronounce it. Great performances. Brad Pitt really kind of steals the show. Kind of has that same kind of grungy, grimy 90s production that you'd see in Jean-Pierre Jeunet movies, kind of very Euro inspired. It's good. It's good. And a remake of the classic 60s French movie, La Jetée, which I don't have because it's really hard to get that copy, but this is good. Love the twist. Love how it all comes together. Midsommar, however you want to call it. It's a horror film. It's a folky horror movie. Ari Aster. A few years ago, I was really big into Ari Aster. Still am. I think his last 2 movies are decent. Mostly misunderstood. This is I like horror films that do things a little bit differently, and the fact that so much of this is taking place in broad daylight gives it a real different vibe that I know a lot of other more boring films have tried to recapture. It's good, and I remember the Critical Drinker did a review on it and just fundamentally and fatally misunderstood the movie, which he would because he's a fucking idiot. Mad Max Fury Road. Ugh. Great movie. I remember seeing this in the cinema, had no expectations whatsoever. My thought was, well, this is going to be rubbish, right? It's coming out 30 years after Beyond Thunderdome, which was itself not that good. This blew my socks off. It blew everybody's socks off, didn't it? I love the visual style. It's very muscular. Great performances. Shame about the follow up. Came too soon. Came too late, I think. Godzilla, another Gareth Edwards. I like this. This is one of the few Godzilla movies that I've seen. I like that it holds off showing us too much Godzilla, and it really is patient and restrained, and really focuses on just the otherworldly monstrous nature of the monster. Where it kind of loses me is I think it's a little bit overstuffed with too many other monsters. I would have much rather have seen Godzilla in some sort of conflict with the humans who just don't really know what to do with him. I appreciate that's a little bit too close to the Emmerich Godzilla movie, but I think enough time had passed. Yeah, it's a real shame about the sequels, which really did just lean into just the nuts kind of unrealistic nature. I like the realism of that first movie. Grindhouse, Quentin Tarantino, Robert Rodriguez double feature, both films smushed together with all the fake trailers. This is the only way to watch it. It's the original intended experience, and I used to not be a big fan of Death Proof, the second one. I thought that it was just a bit dull and very talky. But now, as a bit more of a grown-up film fan, I like what that film's doing. I will say, though, I think I still prefer Planet Terror. Just that kind of schlocky B-movie nonsense that is so over the top and stupid. But I like both of them. Really, I can't remember seeing this. It's the third one, and I think it was kind of almost like a remake of Pitch Black. Maybe one day I'll rewatch it. This Gravity, Alfonso Cuarón, it's very visually impressive, very kind of minimalistic survival thriller. It didn't really do a lot for me. I thought, it's okay, it's fine. I like Sandra Bullock's performance in it is decent. You want her to survive, obviously. But I just could never get into it, really. I've only watched it once. Maybe I should rewatch it again, see where I stand with it now. The World's End. So this is the final movie of Edgar Wright's Cornetto trilogy. And it's the weakest, but it's a sci-fi, which is why it's in this pile. Fun. I like the combination. I like the kind of martial art. They kind of invented like a pub, a mixture of like jiu-jitsu if it's being fought by drunk people. Kind of calls back to like those kind of conspiratorial, bleak sci-fi movies from the 70s. And I saw it once many years ago and thought, well, this isn't as good as Hot Fuzz, but I watched it recently, about a year or so ago, and I thought, this is much better than I remembered. RoboCop trilogy. The first one is a really sharp, satirical classic, ultra-violent. Paul Verhoeven, he's my man, love him. RoboCop 2 and 3. 2, I think, is underappreciated. Ivan Reitman? No, not Ivan Reitman. Ivan Kershner, the guy that did Empire Strikes Back. It's okay. It's just kind of more of the same and really lacks the sharp edge of the first one. The first one's a special movie. RoboCop 3, I cannot remember for the life of me what happened in that one, and I don't want to remember. Reanimator, Stuart Gordon, real classic 80s movie. Obviously, it's got Jeffrey Combs in it, and I watched this. I watched this around about the same time I was watching, Star Trek: Deep Space Nine and Enterprise and stuff. But my granddad, he always told me that this was the only movie that ever gave him the heebie-jeebies. He was always like, I can watch any horror film and I'm not going to get affected. But he said he got affected by this. I watched it myself. And I was like, what are you on about? This is fun. It's absolutely wild at the end with Barbara Crampton. And, you know the scene. If you've seen it, you know the scene. Passengers. I've never seen it. And I think I remember reading about it and just being like, nope, but somehow it still ended up in my collection. Will I watch it one day? I don't know. If enough people tell me to, then maybe. Pandorum. This is a film that I've not seen for a while, but I remember liking it and not really understanding why it was getting such. It bombed at the box office and no one liked it. No one saw it. No one liked it. I don't think it's. I think it's terrible. I think its twist at the end doesn't really work. It's not very convincing, but good production design, some good moments of horror, some good performances. I like the concept. The twist. There's two twists. There's a performance twist, and then there's a twist about where they are. And I'm like, I don't really buy that. It's worth a watch though. If you like Event Horizon, you're not seeing that. I think you'll like that. Planet Terror, talked about it. 28 Days Later. I think I've got a double feature there. I'll talk about that more in a second. Really need to whiz through these movies because I've been talking for well over an hour now and I'm getting tired. Avatar, I already talked about it. I've got some doubles here. 2001 Space Odyssey, already talked about it, but an absolute classic, and I had to just own the Space Baby cover. Chronicles of Riddick. I've already talked about the other movies. I think this might be my favourite, and that might be a hot take. I like the ambition of it. The big kind of expands the universe. It does also turn Vin Diesel's character into Space Jesus, which is kind of silly, but I like it. It's cartoonish. It's like a Looney Tunes movie in space. Very stupid. Judi Dench turns up for a second, and she's there for the paycheck. And the ending's stupid, but it does have some moments where it's you're not going to fall asleep if you put it on. That's just put it like that. The Terminator. I mean, this is up there for me. This is really as good as it gets, I think, in the sci-fi horror genre. And it is a sci-fi horror. This is a slasher. It's a tech slasher. Arnold Schwarzenegger put on the map by the film, although I know he did Conan a couple of years before, but this was the film that turned him into an absolute sensation. Huge star. I love the film. I've not seen the Harlan Ellison episode of is it The Outer Limits? Soldier, which he said this ripped off. I'll go and check it out one day. But I love the pace of this film. Again, it's another one of those low-budget films that Cameron was able to just squeeze so much value out of. I love the effects. They have dated. The whole film is dated. But it's, Arnold Schwarzenegger had one job, and that was to convince us that he was a ruthless cybernetic killing machine from the future. And he absolutely convinces. That shootout with the police, it's not a shootout, it's a massacre at the police station, is terrifying. Very, very good. Stan Winston's stop motion effects at the end as well. Again, dated, but just so good. Horrific. Total Recall. Oh, man. I love this film so much. Again, Paul Verhoeven, Philip K. Dick. They remade it a few years ago with Colin Farrell, and it just don't compare. I love the look of this film. I love the score. Jerry Goldsmith absolutely knocking it out of the park. Kind of channeling Basil Poledouris, what he did on Conan. Very similar. I love. It's a mindfuck of a movie. It's very strange that Schwarzenegger went and did it, but he does mix brain with brawn here. I love that it kind of keeps you guessing, and it is such a rewarding film to rewatch. Watch it over and over again. You'll see something different, and my interpretation of the ending has changed over the years. Pretty much every time I rewatch it, I'm like, oh, what if he is still at Recall? I don't know. Love it. Absolutely love it. It is multiple time a year film. Stargate. I've seen like 3 episodes of Stargate SG-1. Don't even talk to me about Atlantis and Universe and all that crap. I'll watch them one day, I promise. But for me, I got a lot of nostalgia for the original movie, the movie that started it all. It's not perfect, but I love this idea of taking, this ancient aliens concept, the pyramids, all that conspiratorial junk, and turning it into a half-decent sci-fi movie. It does get a bit schlocky. It's a bit predictable. It's popcorn sci-fi. It's not exactly pushing
pushing the art, but it's fun. It's fun. And again, another score that I really like, David Arnold, a couple of years before he did Independence Day. I really like Kurt Russell in this film as well. That stoicism pairing off really nice with James Spader. It's a good film. And yes, one day I will watch Stargate, and I'm going to get some crap for it. Starship Troopers. Probably one of the most misunderstood films I've ever seen. I still can't believe. I mean, there are like feature-length essays on YouTube about how this is fascist propaganda. I'm like, can you not see what this is doing? Can you not see that this is satire? Really on the nose satire. Paul Verhoeven grew up in Nazi-occupied Amsterdam and would walk past dead bodies of people killed by the Nazis. He was on the front line. He saw firsthand what they were capable of. He would not go and make something that would lean into fascism good. It's a great film. As a sci-fi, actioner, it's good in that regard. It's very funny. Like, ruthlessly funny. I think the name escapes me. But I mean, Michael Ironside's in it, and basically all the people who are senior figures in the military, they're all disfigured in some way. I mean, that tells you all you need to know. But yeah, a lot of fun. Really goes for it as well. It's bloody. It's a bloody film. Bloody good time. Star Wars, the complete saga. I think this is the original trilogy and the prequels. Very quickly, the original film, New Hope. I used to call it Star Wars. Masterpiece. Empire Strikes Back, the best one. Return of the Jedi. I will watch it to complete the trilogy, but it's the weakest of the original trilogy. The Phantom Menace was a film that I went and saw in the cinema, and I was extremely excited for it. And even then, as a 9-year-old, I was like, what is this? Love Darth Maul, though. Attack of the Clones, up until the release of Rise of Skywalker, was my least favourite, and I thought it was the worst of all the Star Wars movies. It's still not very good, but it's no longer the worst. And Revenge of the Sith was good. Much, much better. Darker, bleak. I love how it all kind of brought it all together by the end. But really, that prequel trilogy just needed to be one film, really. But yeah, Star Wars. I do like the other Star franchise. Tron, not seen it for many years, but a real groundbreaking film in terms of its special effects. Can't remember much about the story. Something about video games, computers, and all that shit. Tenet, my least favourite Christopher Nolan movie. I think the reversed entropy, I never really understood it. And when I watched this at the cinema, the sound mix was awful. It was awful. I could barely understand what was going on. I've watched it a couple of times at home since, with the audio mix is much better on this Blu-ray. I can kind of understand it, but it's so complex that I think it takes a lot of the enjoyment out of it. And a lot of people go on about the ending with these buildings exploding and then kind of going back, and that pincer movement. I'm still not really sure how it goes. It's a film that made me feel stupid, which could very well be true, but I don't like sitting there feeling stupid. I don't think anybody does. Right. Oh, last pile. Almost done. This isn't a film, but it's feature length, right? The Best of Both Worlds is top tier Star Trek classic. I really like this box, and like I said earlier, if it's got Star Trek on it and I see it and I've not got it, I'll buy it. I mean, I'll probably still buy it even if I've got it, because I'm weird. So this is feature length, so it removes the to be continued. I don't like that. Whenever I watch The Best of Both Worlds, and I might be alone here, this might be a weird thing that I do, I watch both parts together, but it has to have the to be continued, and I like to pretend that I'm like, oh, what's going to happen? I'm going to have to wait 3 to 4 months. No, I'll just watch it straight away. I don't know, am I alone there? It's still nice to have. But I like to watch both parts with that to be continued. Alien, I already talked about it, but this is the 4K 40th anniversary. I don't think I've ever actually taken the disc out, but it's nice to have. I've got all the X-Men movies. X-Men, the first one, It's okay. It's a bit boring, but I do like the dark opening with the Auschwitz opening with Magneto. Very atmospheric. Probably Bryan Singer's best film in terms of his X Men movies, in terms of how it looks. But I think the best X Men movie is X Men 2. Kind of takes the Wrath of Khan route, really dials up the action. X Men 3 is not as bad as I think a lot of people think. It is. It does get a little bit unadventurous. It gets a bit cliche. Um, I like, in a weird way, that it had the balls to kill Xavier, Professor X. But it's not a great film. It's not great. Kind of a bit of a damp squiv of an end of the trilogy. First Class. I've not seen it for a long time, but I think as a kind of a way to resurrect the franchise, I think it was good. It was okay. Kind of a fresh new take, which unfortunately they kind of wrecked with Days of Futures Past, which is a fine film if you want to put on and just turn your brain off. But it's just kind of, oh, the films aren't making money. Let's just bring back the original guys. Let's put Hugh Jackman front and center again. And this film, this was shit. Let's not talk about it. 10 Cloverfield Lane. I heard very, very good things about it. I really like the first Cloverfield movie, which I don't think I've got. I've not seen it. And somehow I have not had it spoilt for me yet. So don't spoil it. Kevin Costner's Waterworld. Oh, God. I've not seen this for many, many, many years. But again, it's a sci-fi film taking place in a post-apocalyptic world where the world is flooded. If I remember correctly, you had the Universal logo and then the world flooded, and I remember thinking that was really cool, but I have not seen it for many years. And I probably won't watch it again anytime soon. The Walking Dead. Oh, it's a TV show. I really like the first 4 seasons of The Walking Dead. The first 2, when Frank Darabont was show running, was terrific. I love the second season. It's really good up until the governor, and then for me it falls off a cliff, and I stopped watching it around season 7 or 8. Negan I thought was a load of crap, and I like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but to have such a mustache twirling villain just didn't really make sense, and it just felt just so meandering towards the end. The Witch, again, it's a horror film. I'm really pushing is this sci-fi? It's not a sci-fi film at all. It's about as far from it as possible. Robert Eggers, though, atmospheric, ye olde world, ambitious horror movies. If you've not seen it, give it a go. It's really good. Jurassic Park, the original trilogy, the first movie is a landmark. It's one of my favourites. Very nostalgic for it. Great childhood favourite. Lost World, I don't hate as much as most other people. Jurassic Park 3, not a fan. Although it's got Linda Park from Enterprise in it for a second, and I'm like, Jurassic World, couldn't care less. It's just, let's rehash a movie. Again, I don't know why this is in here. You Were Never Really Here. This is a Lynn Ramsey psychological thriller, kind of in the vein of Taxi Driver with Joaquin Phoenix. It is violent and brutal. Very atmospheric, though. Great score by Johnny Greenwood. I don't know why it's in here, but it's good. Another one, it's not... this could be science fiction, maybe. I don't know. Jordan Peele. I'm a big fan. His third film, Nope, is definitely more science fiction than this, but... I think a lot of people don't like it for some reason, but I think it's funny, darkly funny, and I like the atmosphere of it. I like the twist, and Lupita Ungo. I'm just butchering the pronunciation. I need to make my mouth work properly. Good performances, dual performances as well. Last few. World War Z. The Prestige. Love this film. This is up there for me. Christopher Nolan. This is sci-fi, but that might run the risk of spoiling the film for some people. If you've not seen it, give it a go. Really good period movie that twists and turns, and it is literally like a magic trick. Really good performances, and that ending is something that I think about a lot. 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later.
I love the first film. A lot of people, it's not aged that great because it was filmed on digital cameras of the time and it looks like crap when you watch it now. I kind of like that though. It's like someone picked up a camera from the rubble and filmed it. 28 weeks later is far more conventional and thus way more boring. I like the fact that it came back 28 years later, was mixed feelings on it, but The Bone Temple, very good. Transformers, the best one is the first one, Michael Bay movie. Dumb. Megan Fox with her arse out. Kind of a bit lechy watching it these days. You feel a bit uncomfortable given how young she was at the time. I like the effects. I like the. It felt like. It's a good. I mean, my kids like it. The sequels are absolutely garbage. Absolutely garbage. I think this was a Kurtzman movie. Yeah, screenplay by Orci and Kurtzman. Says it all, really, doesn't it? Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. People hate this film. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. I think it had quite a lot of balls to do what it did at the end, and I kind of respect it, even if it is mostly just rehashing the second one, all just this time with a Terminator that has boobs. The Thing, the 2011. This is a prequel, confusingly titled. They should have just called it Before the Thing or something. I don't know. So, as the legend goes, they actually filmed this with all practical effects, but then the studio were like, no, we don't like this, let's do all digital. And the digital effects suck. And I've not seen the film with its practical. I think some of the footage still exists. I like some of the things that this does. I love the fact that it ties up and lines up so well with the original, but this was not really needed. And, I'd love to see a practical effects cut, if it's possible. I'd check it out. I have no idea why I have this. I have never seen it. I don't know why I got it. Tron Legacy, everybody goes on about it as being this really good sequel, and I honestly can't remember a second of it. The only thing I can remember is the Daft Punk score is awesome, and I listen to it all the time. Can't remember a thing about this film, and I've not seen the latest one, and I won't. I'll do these in order. Terminator Salvation, again, another film that a lot of people like to dunk on, and it's not perfect, but again, I like the fact that it broke the mold and it dared to do something that, because the Terminator films were just they were just all the same. Terminator gets sent back in time, becomes a chase movie. This dared to be a bit different. Not having Arnold Schwarzenegger in it hurt the film, though, and Christian Bale's performance is very, very strange. He's basically just doing Bruce Wayne. He's just doing Batman. But not as bad as what people say. The trailers ruined this film. Absolutely ruined the film. And it was incredible that they didn't learn from their mistakes, because the trailers ruined this film. Although saying that, this film's garbage. Absolutely garbage. Just let's try and remake bits of the Terminator films that you see. Really convolutes the timeline in a way that just I think Rick and Morty took the piss out of it by just having snakes just constantly eating themselves and stuff. It's a terrible movie. The action is just boring and uninspired, and it's just a pure paycheck movie. The last one they did, Dark Fate, I also couldn't stand, although it's just way better than that one. Finally, Time Bandits, Terry Gilliam, again, the name that I probably can't pronounce. I've not seen this film since I was a kid, but I remember having my mind kind of bent and warped by it, and I picked it up based on the nostalgia alone. So I will one day, I'll get around to watching it again one day. But there we go. That is my pile of movies, not in any particular order, which is probably going to really upset some people. But yeah, I've been talking for 90 minutes. It's time to end. What do you think of my collection? What are there any films that you think are missing? I know there's a lot of sci-fi classics that aren't in there. Which one should I go out and get? Which movies of that pile, or sci-fi movies in general, would you like to see me review? Let me know in the comments below. If you're still watching this, thank you so much for staying with me. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And until next time, stay well and live long and prosper.